Happy Monday, Philadelphia 76ers. Now Today is sponsored by Mint Mobile. Just like Tyrese Maxey was able to change games last year with his ability to create off the dribble, Mint Mobile is changing the cell phone game with plans as low as $15 per month on America's largest 5G network. Start saving today by heading to mintmobile.com/chatsports. I'll put that link in the comment section and the description of this video. On the show today, talking a lot about Tyrese Maxey, an update on James Harden. Before we officially get started, though, if you're excited about the future of Maxey, who I think is the best young guard on this roster, and for this franchise, going all the way back to Allen Iverson, I want you to hit that thumbs up icon and like the video. It's easy to be excited about Tyrese Maxey because of his personality, his game, and what he brings to the floor. The fact that he offers the Sixers something that they have lacked over the last couple of years. That's the ability to break down defenses off the dribble and really bail the offense out. And then you combine that with the fact that this guy's personality is awesome, always has a smile on his face, and always brings that positive energy to the floor. He is one of the most valuable young players in the NBA. And you look at how the numbers have really increased from his rookie year to year 2. I posted this on our community tab, but Tyrese Maxey going into year 3 does have all-star potential when you look at a player who's emerging, who continues to grow, get better, and then you look at what he did in the playoffs last year when the going got tough and when the competition was increased. Tyrese Maxey was terrific in the postseason. He was the number one option offensively outside of Joel Embiid, averaging nearly 21 points per game and 40 minutes per, just shy of 4 dimes, but that's all good because James Harden was the primary facilitator within the offense, connected on 48% of his field goals, nearly 38% from 3, and last year in the regular season, he was right around that 40% number from downtown. So with more experience, another year under his belt, and Tyrese Maxey continuing to just improve upon his game, I think he can play at an all-star level this upcoming season because I think he is going to be the number 2 go-to guy offensively aside from Embiid. And I thought what Doc Rivers said recently really just speaks volumes of Maxey the player and Maxey the person. This is really lofty praise from Doc. Tyrese Maxey, he said, the most impressive young player I've ever had in 21 years of coaching. His work ethic, beyond belief. Many times already this summer, already 2 or 3 times, we've had to tell him to go sit down somewhere and just go relax. And we've talked about Rivers' shortcomings as a head coach. There have been playoff chokes. There have been playoff flameouts, but Doc Rivers is one of the best coaches in the history of the NBA. What he did with the Orlando Magic, won a championship with the Boston Celtics, yes, lost and surrendered a lot of 3-1 leads in the playoffs with the Clippers, and we know with the Philadelphia 76ers, but he's also coached a lot of good young guys. And Tyrese Maxey, for him to be the best young player that Doc has ever coached, that right there, it is telling on a couple of levels. And, of course, Maxey has been in the gym working because that's what Tyrese Maxey does. Maxey is a grinder. Maxey is an ascending young player. Maxey has all of this potential. And Maxey can be that all-star guy because of the work that he puts in. And that's why he was able to replace Ben Simmons without this offense really suffering at all. And you think about it. Ben Simmons, an all-NBA caliber player, one of the best defensive players in the NBA, but offensively, I thought last year the Sixers were even better. And that's with Simmons off the floor and Maxey on it. He's a franchise pillar, franchise cornerstone, and that's why there's no way I would trade Tyrese Maxey unless it's for one of the top 5, top 10 players in the NBA, because down the road, I think Maxey can become an elite guy in this league. Before we get to the latest on James Harden, help me out. Subscribe to the channel. We're 22 people away from 8,000 subs. YouTube.com/76erstv. Hit that red sub button down below. Even though it's the off season, even though there's not much chatter around the NBA right now, we're still pumping out content, giving you shows multiple times per week. You want to stay in the know with all things Sixers from a guy who grew up in the Philly area. This is your spot. Subscribe to the channel. Let's get to 8K subs. And I don't know, if you want me to shotgun a beer once we get to 8,000, can we get 20 comments that say shotgun? And maybe I'll do it. Okay, Tyrese Maxey on free agent additions. namely PJ Tucker, and a guy who he's excited about for what he brings to the table, and it's a Sixers change in the roster, which brings toughness, which I really think they needed. I think they'll definitely help us with mental toughness, Maxey said while at his basketball camp over the weekend. I think they'll also help with just the physical toughness, the grit and the grind that we need to bring to our team. And also, I think guys like PJ Tucker, he's going to bring that championship mentality. I think we're really going to appreciate him for that. And one of my biggest needs and improvements that the Sixers needed to make going into this offseason, following that playoff collapse against the Miami Heat, desperately needed to add toughness. They did that with PJ Tucker. They did that with DeAnthony Melton. Another year of Embiid playing an elite clip, and then Tyrese Maxey, his continued growth. That's why I think the Sixers going into this year are a better team than they were last year, both with the starting lineup, fit, as well as that much-needed depth. So I say that they're better. I'm going to go ahead and submit my B for better. What do you think? W for worse, S for the same. You with me? Then type your B. Coming up next on the show, James Harden looking pretty solid throughout these summer runs and looks as though he's trimmed some weight a little bit. We'll get to that right around the corner. First, though, today's show sponsored by Mint Mobile. Mint Mobile, the cell phone company owned by the famous actor Ryan Reynolds, is changing the cell phone game and flipping it on its head, just like what Joel Embiid has been able to do with bigs in an era in which bigs have become nearly extinct. Joel Embiid has been able to change the way that people think about bigs in the NBA. Mint Mobile is changing the way that people think about cell phone plans, offering plans per month as low as $15 per month. And what's cool, you don't have to go to a store to get a new phone. You don't have to change your actual cell phone number. They will send you a digital eSIM card, so you don't have to waste your time by submitting that eSIM card by going to a Verizon store or something like that. MintMobile.com/chatsports, America's largest 5G network, unlimited talk and text. Start saving money today by plugging in that link at the bottom of your screen. Shift gears now to James Harden. And going into this offseason, we knew the guy needed to trim some weight. He needed to come into Sixers training camp in better shape. And up to this point, with the videos that I've been seeing, James Harden has looked pretty solid in Summer League runs. And Summer League runs are cool and all. I'm glad that Harden looks to be in better shape. The explosiveness, maybe a little bit back. I like the dribble pull-ups. I like hitting the threes off the dribble. I think that that's something that Harden needs to do a better job of instead of just relying on that step back. And maybe he was relying on that step back because he knew he couldn't get to his spot on the floor because the hamstring was bothering him. So while he does look good in some of these summer leagues, can he get it done in the regular season and in the playoffs with all of this mileage? Because the last couple of years, the play has gone downhill just a little bit. And I know a lot of you are saying, Chase, Scotty Barnes was D'ing him up. He was playing defense 40 feet away from the basket, locking down James Harden. That's cool. Scotty Barnes is a really good defensive player, and I think a lot of people are sleeping on what he can become and the player who he already is coming off that Rookie of the Year campaign. For Barnes to D him up, yeah, I expect that because Scotty Barnes has like crazy length and is an excellent defensive player. So yeah, that's cool and all, but James Harden was also getting buckets and finding nylon in some of these summer league runs as well. For Harden to be better this upcoming season, want to see him focus in on a couple of areas, and I just want to see him get better in some of these junctures. Come to camp in shape, that's most notably. Get the hamstring figured out to get that explosiveness back. Finish stronger around the rim. Harden, the beard, you're 6'6". You got to finish stronger around the rim because sometimes he just kind of folds around the rim trying to get that call and trying to get that contact. But with some of these rule changes in the NBA, he needs to attack the rim with more just aggressiveness. Be a better catch and shoot and dribble pull-up guy. We've seen that in some of these runs so far. And then let Embiid and Maxey run the show. Some nights, James Harden will drop 30-plus points. Some nights, he will be asked to do more offensively. But this team is at its best when they're going through Embiid as well as Tyrese Maxey, and I want to see James Harden be cool with that. As for what the aforementioned Maxey had to say about playing with James Harden, he said this also over the weekend. Chemistry is everything. We only played like 20-some games together so far. For us to be able to have a whole training camp and an entire season, it's going to be nothing but good things for us, and it's going to be a positive outcome. And I'm excited to see what the Sixers team can do with a full season of James Harden. Yes, there have been some really head scratchers so far throughout the playoffs in his entire career and in 2 series with Philadelphia. But having an entire training camp, preseason, regular season, to figure out what everybody else does well and to learn about each other on the basketball floor, I only think that can benefit this team. If you made it this far on the show, it's a Monday. We're rocking and rolling. I'm bringing the energy, and if you have the Monday blues, hopefully this show cheered you up. I want you to cheer me up, because if you showed up and showed out and you made it this far and you're subscribed to the channel, type Real One. It's the Real One roll call for today's show, and be smart and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. 8K subs, let's ride, let's get it.